would like to call the Orange Board of Education meeting on January 21st, 2020, Tuesday, to order at 7:04. Before we do the pledge, I'll admit it is very difficult for me. The town lost Tim Smith the other day. I got to know Tim through working with him on the board, with our projects, bond oversight committee, and just as a person in general. You'd always see Tim at the fair, everywhere around town. The one thing I will say about Tim is he was dedicated to this town, to the parents, all the residents, especially the children. He did his job with enthusiasm and with great strength, and made sure that we were all safe all the time. If you went anywhere in this town, to a fair, to a church, to the community center, the schools, Tim had already been there to make sure the town was safe. Funny thing about Tim was, we'd have our meetings and we wanted to do a project or something. And, we're going to do this. And inevitably, if I said it once, I said it 1,000 times. Has anyone talked to Tim? Because Tim would always check on everything to make sure it was to code and proper. And sometimes I would say to Tim, I'd see him, and Tim was much taller than me, so I was looking up. Tim, really? I mean, this is going to cost us? And he'd have that smile. And he'd look down at me, and he'd say, Bill. That's all he'd say. I said, I know, Tim, I know. He always smiled. He always shook your hand. But above all, he put us first. And that's going to be something very hard to replace. So not only did we lose a first responder, but I think the town lost. I think the town lost a friend. So if you don't mind, can we say the pledge and then have a moment of silence afterwards, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kim, would you be kind enough to read the mission statement, please?
The Orange Elementary School District recognizes that the education of each child is the shared responsibility of every member of our community. Our goal is to inspire and empower each student to achieve academic excellence, embrace social and individual responsibility, and lead with integrity. We believe all individuals should be valued and treated with respect. Together, we will make a difference.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public participation? No? Very well. We'll move on to correspondence. We have no correspondence this month. Consent agenda. I will need a motion to accept the item under the consent agenda. The item is the regular session meeting minutes from the December 16th, 2019 Board of Education meeting. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes under the consent agenda? Mary, second. Susan, any discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Very well. We will move on to presentation. Principal Glasgow will be giving a 21st century presentation.
Good evening, everyone. So when I was planning this presentation for tonight, I thought of all the things that I could say, but I decided that I've been here for the past few years and I've been talking and talking and talking. So I decided that tonight I wanted to show. I have a few slides that I'm just going to review, and then I'm going to turn it over to the students to show you and bring to life some of the things that we're doing at the 21st Century program. So, for those of you that are not aware what the 21st Century program is, we are a before and after school program, and we continue to focus on the social, emotional, and intellectual needs of our students. This is just a brief overview of what the day consists of. We have kept it consistent over the years. We've made a few changes, and those are still in place this year. So we have our arrival. Students are fed a snack from the program. Reading buddies and homework club is still in existence. The STEAM activities are getting better and bigger with every year. Physical activity continues to be very important for us. They have been in school all day. We recognize that. We want to honor their developmental needs, and also, as we call the stealth learning, get that learning in there. But we don't forget about the physical activities that students require. Technology time, peer-to-peer interactions and student-to-staff interactions. We work on social skills. We work on problem solving, all of those skills that you don't necessarily think about, but are essential to all of us who are developing. Exploration activities, and then always trying to reach out into the community and do different types of Veterans Day affairs, Halloween. Right now they're decorating the High Plains Community Senior Center. We're involved with that. So there are a lot of opportunities for us to really partner with the town, and that's something that we continue to do on a weekly, monthly basis. One of my favorite slides is that 21st Century continues to grow. And if you see here, this year we have added 144 seats. We talk about seats as how many students are seen during a week. And we, in the past 2 years, have increased by 277 seats, continuing to provide the programs, continuing to enhance the program, but also meet the needs of an additional 277 seats. And we're hoping to grow more. We have room. We want to welcome everyone in. We want people to know that there's a safe, enriching environment provided by us for our students. So that to me is really important, that although we're growing and that's awesome, we're continuing to provide the services that we want at the quality level that we want. The things that are continuing that I have discussed from here, right from this spot over the past, is our homework club. That is run by certified teachers, and that's really important to me. Teachers who know our curriculum, teachers who know the resources that we use, who know the strategies and the types of learning that can continue from school to after school, and that there's a seamless transition there, and we talk and communicate frequently. That's important for us. The stealth learning, as I mentioned, trying to make it be fun, be educational, be cutting edge, and have them not really know that they're learning. That's key. And our after-school program continues to be successful. We continue to have teachers who are willing and wanting to be involved in that. And that was something that I learned when I first came on, the importance of team building and getting students to see their staff, their teachers, in a different setting. And that, to me, is really encouraging, that more and more teachers are coming and seeking us out when before we were seeking them out. So that is great news for our program. We have T-shirts. Mondays are Spirit Days at all the schools. On any given Monday, if you go to any of these schools, you will see these T-shirts. It has our logo that was created last year. And if you see this one, the back has the motto, which was, "You walk in and the adventure begins." That was voted on. It was student selected. Student thought of it. We had a competition. And every Monday, they get to see each other and see that they belong. And those shirts really are impactful and powerful. Even here at Mary L. Tracy School, when they walk around, we see all those shirts on Mondays and like, "Hey, I go there," or "I go there. Which school do you go to?" And it's really fun for them to know there's a lot of us who do this. And that was a new piece, new component this year. Looking ahead, I think you know that I don't want it to be stable. I want it to continue to grow. We continue to look for ways. We look at other programs. We look at many different avenues to see how can we best improve, not just for the sake of improving, right, but for something that will make a difference and will be meaningful. That, for me, is my guide. You know, will this be impactful? How will it help students grow? So we will continue to move forward. All of my thank yous. Thank you to the ad hoc committee, to Dr. Scarpetti, Dr. Russo, Christine, thank you for coming aboard and accepting me with all that I bring and all my questions. I appreciate that. To Matt with all the technology needs. My managers, we couldn't do it without them. They are the boots on the ground at every school. Stephanie Middleton, Myra Napier, and Nancy Nastry. Jackie Esposito, she oversees the entire after-school scheduling for me. It is a huge job, and she's like my right-hand man, so that's awesome. And, of course, the principals and administrative assistants. And now, the real fun of tonight. In the spotlight tonight, we have our Lego Robotics team. And when I first came on board in this position, I really had no idea. Dr. Russo talked to me about Lego League, and I was like, oh yeah, Legos. I know Legos. I've built with them. It's easy, right? No big deal. It is a huge, huge undertaking. And I wanted them to be able to show you just a little taste of what they do. This year was exciting for me because we were able to have a unified team. And I thank the parents who carpooled and who figured out ways to get to Racebrook School. We had students from every school, Peck Place, Turkey Hill, and Racebrook. We partnered with the parents, we partnered with our staff, we partnered with you. We partnered this year with the Orange Park and Recreation Department. I was very, very grateful to them. We needed space, we needed a place for them to meet on weekends and at nights when buildings weren't closed or when there wasn't access to a certain room that we could have. And they were very willing to open up room 15 for us, and we got in there. They were more than hospitable to us, and were always there when we needed them. So I appreciate that working relationship that we had there. So tonight, Hannah Mae is gonna come up, and she's just gonna read a little bit about what went in behind the scenes, and then we'll see their presentation.
This year's LEGO League team, the Orange Circuit Breakers, participated in Wolcott's City Shaper competition. The team spent countless hours preparing for the competition by learning robot design, programming missions, preparing and rehearsing a skit, creating models for a presentation, and practicing core values. Tonight, you'll be able to experience exactly what we did on the day of competition when we presented the skit and participated in 6 rounds of the Robot and Mission Challenge. The team will be presenting the skit we wrote, which discusses a need in the town of Orange. The robot mission is timed at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and the team is trying to acquire the most points possible. Each mission that is successfully completed has points assigned. The Orange Circuit Breakers' high score was 205 points, which is pretty remarkable for a rookie team. We hope you enjoy our demonstration.
They're going to start out with their skit. Their mission was to find something in their town that needed to be worked on or improved upon. And they had to figure that out, and this is the result.
Guys, I have a problem. I want to go to the playground with my friend, but he's in a wheelchair, and he broke his leg, and he's in a wheelchair, and there's no handicap accessible playgrounds in Orange.
That's horrible. What could we do?
What if we build our own playground?
That's a great idea. Did you know that approximately 5% of the people in Orange are handicapped or disabled? And the number is even higher for New Haven County, which is approximately 7%. That's a lot of people who could benefit from an all-inclusive playground. Also, this would provide a needed health benefit for handicapped people, as they often find it difficult to find a place to exercise.
So how do we get started?
We should talk to some experts. We should probably start with an engineer.
Hi, I'm Patrick Clare, the engineer in charge for accessible playground designs at Boss Engineering, Michigan. This is a great idea. All regulations about the design for accessible playgrounds can be found in Chapter 10 of ADA-AG. There are two main things to remember. 1. An accessible route for everyone to be able to get around easily, including a playground surface that is flat and firm for all mobility devices, and walkways that are wide enough for wheelchairs to turn easily. Modern composite materials make this easy to do. 2. Inclusive play that takes away barriers, both physical and social, and allows children of all abilities to play together, like swing sets that include wheelchair-safe swings as well as regular swings, sensory tables and interactive play panels, pull-along low monkey bars, upper body strength building hand rings, etc. You should talk to an architect, too, to help you design the playground better.
Hi, I'm Alana Goldwit, Harvard-trained architect at BIG, New York. When architects create a space, their number one priority is to make it enjoyable for everyone who uses it. This includes disabled children. When making any accessible buildings, there are a few must-haves. First of all, ramps, specifically ones that are 1 to 20 degree angles. The playground itself also needs to make it easy to move around walkers, canes, and of course wheelchairs. This means no wood chips and no mulch. Another important feature, Braille. The blind can't get around well without Braille signs and maps. We should talk to a builder for more details.
Hi, I'm Anthony Sillo from Sillo Builders in New Canaan, Connecticut. When it comes to building a handicap-inclusive park, there are lots of options. Many companies make rides and playscapes designed for the use of all types of children, including those with handicaps. They provide easier access to get on and off the equipment and provide options for all types of kids to use on together. The cost for an all-inclusive park can be expensive depending on the size and location, expected to be a minimum of a few $100,000. I'd love to build you a great park, but I need to know where to build it. You should talk to your town government.
Hi, I'm Paul Denise, the Planning and Zoning Administrator for the Town of Orange. A good place would be at Fred Wolf Park, and that's right there. It's centrally located in the town in a residential area, so it would be easily accessible by all residents. There's also a lot of space there to build a park, and the land is already owned by the town. But you need to talk to James Zioli, our first selectman. Hi, I'm James Zioli, the first selectman of Orange. I think this is a great idea you kids have come up with, but such a big project like this would need to be voted by certain town committees. Most of the money would be through taxes and grants, but also some funding. You need to talk to Mr. Rich.
Hi, my name is Mr. Rich. I'm a wealthy Orange resident. I can donate some money to help you with the project, but here are some other ideas. 1, a board game tournament like a chess tournament. 2, a book sale where families donate books that they don't have any use for. 3, a mystery box where people donate all kinds of gifts for the box. We estimate the cost of the gifts and sell raffle tickets.
Wow, I never knew so much was involved. An architect, an engineer, a builder, local government, and fundraising. I never knew so much was involved. Look, a dog! I have an idea to improve our playground. We can add a separate area for emotional support dogs so all of the kids can enjoy them. Let's get started. Yes.
So that was the skip portion, and I have pictures I'll run through quickly to show you just the vastness of where they had to perform that. They had their board, and they had some, a slideshow that went through and gave some of the equipment and some of the items that they found. All of the people that they mentioned, they interviewed, and they seeked out that information and then took their quotes when they did that. So those weren't made up, those were actual quotes from the people that they pretended to be. The next part is their robotic mission, where they had to program and complete tasks that were assigned to them. Again, Mrs. Harned is our teacher who is in charge of the whole program. Mrs. Harned, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Is that the time that you are given to complete, or that was just what it took you? You are given that amount of time to complete your task? Correct. Okay.
So there are points that are taken off to keep the
Normally, this is on a Lego table that we have. It just is too large. It doesn't fit in the elevator, and to get it up here would be a little bit cumbersome. So we're going with the floor for now, but, right. They're a little nervous because the slant and the tilt is different than their table was, which would change the programming. And when this comes to them, it is just a box of Legos. There is nothing assembled. They create everything you're seeing here. Those pieces are Velcroed onto the map, so those are the stationary, and they need to program to go around. Yep. Okay. Nice. So they were trying to get it into that circle.
So one thing I just want to mention is that the table that accompanies this map or that provides like support with that, they use that for measurement. So it's a little off right now because
Right.
there's a space that they've measured from the table that is not provided here, so they're a little bit off with
Right.
where their starting point is.
Still impressive. Yep. Sorry. Right. And team, we get it. We understand that when you programmed it, you program it on your table, but it is very impressive the amount of work that you put into your research, to your programming, building, and the teamsmanship that I've been seeing, and the support from everyone, which is also a huge component. We thank you for coming tonight. I want to announce your names so everyone can know who you are. We have Mrs. Harned, who is the teacher leader. Mr. and Mrs. Dickinson, Mrs. Dickinson was the parent volunteer, team parent volunteers. They organized all the meetings. They hosted. They got everything organized. All of the parents helped, but you were the lead in charge there for that. And students, raise your hand when I say your name. Grisha Horvath. Anushka Gupta, Hannah May, Charlotte Keene, Enoch Liu, Daniel Nawaz, and Monica Chen is not here this evening but was a member of the 2019 team. Great job. And the last thing I want to show, again, this is very fast. It's just a picture so you can get an idea for the scope of the day. In this one, you can see that that bridge actually went to our second Lego table, and it had to go from one table to the other table. You can kind of see that on the bottom there. The judges, you can see in those uniforms, another view of the bridge to both tables. And this is all of the missions they had to accomplish as the Orange Circuit Breakers that day. So thank you. I think that they definitely bring it more to life than I ever could have by talking about it. And we hope you continue on, and next year you're going to get even more than 205 points. Awesome job.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Take your time. We'll take 5 minutes, let you all get cleaned up and out of here, okay?
It's really cool.
I don't think Lego League is a good enough name for it. No, it's really not. So we call it Robotics, Mindstorm Robotics, but it's amazing. And they have ones for younger children that are even smaller, and they do a little bit different. We have an after-school program.
It is, it really is.
Thank you, parents, for coming.
You know, the Legos were made for kids. They were Legos. They were Legos, and like, 6 hours. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're guys did a great job.
Oh, I'm so old. I had Lincoln. Did you have an metal with all little holes in the metal and screws. I could. Tankers. Yeah.
That was basic stuff. Compared to all the rest.
Oh.
For those of you that did not know, great job. Can you tell them where that dog came from?
This dog came from all from scratch except for this.
No. He built that dog all by himself.
You're kidding.
Scratch. Oh.
From scratch. You got it. Have to say a shout out on that dog.
Well, except for this I bought.
That is really cool.
Made the skin and the gears and everything.
Really?
Motors and
Nice job.
everything except the battery case. Yeah,
Nice
that is
job.
scratch.
Very good. You guys did a nice job.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Thank you.
I know, that was so funny.
Okay. We good? All right, guys, we're back. Let's see, moving on, Dr. Scarpetti will give his report.
Thank you, Mr. Crown. Happy New Year to everyone. The winter concerts took place at each school, and all of them did a superb job. What we have next is our band and orchestra concerts. For Peck, we have it on Tuesday, January 28th. Turkey Hill is on January 29th, and Racebrook on Thursday, January 30th, all at 7 p.m., and we'd love for you to attend if you're able to make it. In addition to that, we during our break, I wanted to share, and I was able to see some of you during break, but we had some work that was done. At Turkey Hill School Media Center, we had it painted and the new furniture arrived. Here at MLT, we put flooring in our resource rooms. One of the things that we looked at in a different lens, for those of you that may be new to the board, but also you may, those that are not, have heard the expression doing more with less. Everything besides a few of the projects, we did all in-house. So I know that's a statement that the Board of Finance shares with us, and so we were very proud of the work that was done. For those that I was able to see during break and actually see what was done at Turkey Hill and Mariel Tracy, was happy that you were able to come and see that. But for any of you that haven't seen it as of yet, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself or even Mary Shaw, because I would love to see that the work that we've done and your support that where it's come to fruition to the students at MLT and at Turkey Hill School. We did have one school cancellation, so the last day of school is now on Friday, June 12th. We want to congratulate Yvonne Pryor. She was the Turkey Hill School kitchen manager. I believe she served in that role for over 21 years. She's retired. Her last day was on January 3rd, and we wish her well. And in case anyone has forgotten, our budget workshop is Wednesday, January 29th, and we look forward to presenting to the entire board the superintendent's budget. And to echo Mr. Kraut's thoughts again, for all of us, we want to keep Tim Smith's family. For those of you who know that Tim, he leaves 2 daughters behind. We want to keep them in our thoughts and prayers. Thank you, Mr. Kraut.
Thank you. Christine, your report, please.
Good evening, everyone. We did review expenditures and financials in the Finance Subcommittee earlier this evening, and our December expenditures were mainly routine, and we are within budget. Our cafeteria continues to do well, with December lunch counts remaining steady. As I mentioned a few times, we do have an administrative review coming up in our food service area in the middle of February. We just completed a portion of that review, which is the off-site piece, which consisted of filling out quite a bit of questionnaire and uploading documents on meal access and reimbursement and financial management of the cafeteria account, et cetera. So we've been working hard in central office on those bits. Training continues for the Munis system, which is the new financial package that we're installing. We're still planning go live in April 1st for the financial module and July 1st for payroll. Our auditors have completed their agreed upon procedures package for the 2018-2019 school year in time for the December 31st deadline. And the main focus of that audit was the educational financial system data that we file with the state of Connecticut, and all is well there. And as Dr. Scarpetti mentioned, the budget workshop is scheduled for January 29th, so we're looking forward to that, and that's it.
Any questions for Christine? Okay. Evel.
Our reading consultants, our math specialists, and 8 teachers from our district math team participated in a professional learning session last Wednesday, January 15th. The topic was assessment evidence of instruction or student engagement. And our goal for the learning was to promote student ownership and to overtly teach students to navigate their learning. And why? Because becoming a self-navigating learner is an aspiration that we have for our students, and that if they are to become lifelong learners, they'll need to learn how to self-navigate. And so we learned how one becomes a self-navigating learner. And self-navigation relies on 3 selfies: self-motivation, self-regulation, and self-evaluation or assessment. And we focused on questions that learners ask themselves to make sure that this is happening. At our sessions, we also reviewed learning targets and their role in self-navigation, and we really couldn't have gotten to this point had we not engaged in all that important curricular work, assessment evidence of standards, and curriculum to get to this point. We crosswalked learning strategies with habits of mind, and these learning strategies not to be confused with learning styles that actually don't exist and are myths. We're excited to now crosswalk the habits of mind and the learning strategies with what we're learning about social emotional learning and the ruler skills. We explored a tool for self-navigation, the learning plan, and we had an opportunity to visit a site which was one of our own Orange classrooms. So that was really exciting to see how this work has begun right here in Orange. And finally, we had an opportunity to engage in a supported work session where teachers had the opportunity to select learning targets to begin a learning plan. Now, this same session will be provided to teams next month and continue until May. If we have an understanding of this work and its impact on students, then we'll be equipped to create student learning plans from September to December next school year during professional planning sessions. And then this would be the structure for us to have an opportunity to apply and implement our learning. And we've learned that when there's a toward state for learning present, we can collect evidence of student engagement. And this would be reflected in a student's ability to answer 5 questions. What am I learning? Why am I learning it? How do I know I'm learning it? And how do I feel about it? I forgot one. So let's see. What am I learning? How am I learning it? How will I know if I'm learning it? And how do I feel about learning it? Yeah, so I think I did get them all. Lastly, last Wednesday, our staff finished creating their school charters, and they started their work on their mood meters. That's about it.
Any questions, Karen?
They completed their school charters, and they started work on the mood meter. The mood meter, and if anybody is interested in seeing what a mood meter looks like, I have some here that I can pass out at the end of the meeting, and we can post this on our website. It looks at feelings in degrees of how pleasant they are, pleasantness, and energy levels, high and low.
Any other questions for Evelyn? Go ahead, Betty.
Yeah, just, you were talking about the learning targets and the learning plans. These are the teachers working on this. Is that something the self-navigating learner is going to also be making their own learning targets and developing their own learning plans? Is that where this is going?
We certainly hope so. That we'll begin by co-creating and then students identifying learning targets for themselves.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay. Mary, please.
Evening. As you may recall, last month I had the pleasure of announcing that we had received a primary mental health grant. So we have since hired our child associate, and the staff will be going to a 2-day training next week that will include the child associate, our social worker, and our school psychologist, so that we should be able to begin the program within the next couple of weeks in our schools. And just a reminder that our pre-K blind lottery is open until the end of January 21st to be specific. And then I just wanted to give a shout out to Diane Downing. She is our district social worker. She is restarting up the unified sports again this year. Last year they took a reprieve from the sports and introduced unified arts. But as a result, I think she just really wanted to bring back the sports, and so she is doing that. That's an extension of Special Olympics. So I just wanted to give Diane a shout out on that. And that's all I have.
questions for Mary? No?
Mr. Chair, if I may, forgot to announce that the capital planning meeting presentation did occur January 9th. I want to extend a thank you to Ms. Koch, who helped prepare for that, and also Matt Ulring and all the board members that were able to support us that evening. Our next meeting will be in front of the Board of Finance on February 7th, and that's where Mr. Oakenquist presents his report to the Board of Finance.
Any questions on that? No? Okay, so we shall move on to board business. We have some policy second reads. Following policies were presented as first reads at December BOE meeting. I will be looking for a motion to adopt these policies this evening. Policy 5125, student records confidentiality. Do I have a motion to adopt policy 5125, student records confidentiality? Motion? Anyone? Ken? Second? Susan? Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Good night.
Yeah.
Policy 1331, smoke-free environment. Do I have a motion to adopt policy 1331, smoke-free environment? Motion? Mary, second? Betty? Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstained? Very well. Later on, we'll be going into executive session for our mid-year superintendent performance conversation. Let's see. Moving on to standing committees. I hope you all received your committee assignments. I tried to be as fair and accommodating to everyone as I possibly could. If you have any questions, complaints, whatever, anyone, feel free to contact me and we can see what we can do about it. But as of right now, that's what the committees are going forward. Okay? So, without ado, Susan Riccio, Finance and Operations.
As Mrs. Koch said, the Finance Committee met prior to this meeting. Everything's in order, and I was very pleased to hear that all the papers for December 31st were in on time. Thank you.
Very good. Any questions for Susan? No? Personnel transportation policy. Kim?
So as you can see, we just passed 2 policies. We will not be meeting this month, but I anticipate that that a big list of divide and conquer policies is coming, because as I think I mentioned last month, that there were 22 pieces of legislation passed in the fall that impact 37 policies that we have to look at. So we'll take the same approach that we did before and divide and conquer, and hopefully we can even start getting through them as soon as February, and that we will meet in February.
Thank you. Any questions for Kim? All right. Buildings and grounds. Counselor.
Thanks, Charles. Just to echo your earlier sentiments, I mean, in buildings, grounds, safety, security, we worked so much with Tim Smith, and just really, struck by his sudden unexpected loss to all of us. And just want to take this brief opportunity to just express our appreciation, my appreciation for him and all that we've tried to do for our schools and our students, and through our building, grounds, safety, and security committee, and to which Tim was just integral. So just echoing, I suppose, your earlier expressed sentiments at just what a loss, and to our community, this family. That said, and realizing it's just such a almost banal non sequitur to then move over to regular business in light of such a town catastrophe. Chairman, nothing really to report in that regard. We were waiting for the new committees to be established, and nothing to report is good in the sense that there isn't anything that needs immediate or urgent addressing. We look forward to reviewing more contemporary, shall we say, reviews of and implementation of perhaps new safety and security measures that Tim was just such a valuable part of. So we, as a committee, were reformed. I know Charles will be, I think, the new chair going forward. Very appreciative of his efforts in that regard, and I expect that we'll be convening a subcommittee meeting soon to pick up kind of, I won't say where we left off, but where we were last, in the end of last year. Thank you.
Yes, Charles is the new chair of Buildings and Grounds. Charles, you're going to need to call a meeting because we do have some business to tend to. So you can contact myself and/or Jeff. Jeff is your vice, and we'll get that straightened out, okay? Thank you. Where are we here? Who is it? Mr. Ziman.
In an effort to make sure that everybody is sharp for the budget meeting on Wednesday, we won't be having a meeting for this month, but we will pick it up in February.
Thank you, Mr. Ziman, as always. ACES. Susan.
ACES met last Thursday. Unfortunately, I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't make the meeting. But I did review all the paperwork, and they are still fiscally sound. They're still profitable right now. A lot going on. I'll give you more information as I get the minutes from the last meeting.
Very good. Any questions for Sue? Okay, very good. So, I don't think we have anything else to do at our regular meeting, so we will enter into executive session now.